And man, oh man, 2 in 1 week. What is going on?
Are you
Why
talking
am
about
I?
jerseys?
That too. That too. I know this guy is a Kansas City fan. If you guys don't know, Landon is on a mighty mountain right now because his boys, Kansas City Chiefs, are in the playoffs.
Just happy we still got football to watch.
They
Yeah.
are.
But guys, welcome back to the Book Club Bros, guys, and this is the part 2, back-to-back episodes on this week, guys. And we read from page 71 all the way up to 139. I know I'm gonna shift our camera. I don't know how my camera got
Where
shifted.
in the world? What do you
But-
have to do to that?
I gotta move it to the left.
Oh, okay.
But I want to do my introduction first.
Tilted.
So yeah, guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko, guys.
You
But-
need to be leaning the opposite direction.
Well, I know, but I gotta look.
Oh,
I'm-
okay. I
I'm
thought
reading
I was like
it.
you're leaning off.
I know,
camera.
but I'll just talk this way. It's okay.
Yeah.
But no, guys. So it was a quick turnaround. Overall
was.
thoughts. I know Atlanta gave me a few
Yeah.
thoughts already for a couple pages in. I know I already read ahead. So
He
but-
had read ahead. He was like he had said the thing about not going to school or like not collecting college debt, and he was like, oh yeah, I read ahead. It's in the next portion. Flip over. It's like 2 pages into the next chapter. So it was just basically right there. But no, it was good. It was really good. I did all of the reading in the last 2 days too, so really tested it.
did you really?
Yeah.
Did you
Actually,
do
I
the
did
same,
most
Miguel?
of it yesterday.
You guys just crushed it.
Yes, bro.
I made sure. Yeah, I made sure I got
That's-
to that first one. I was
I don't know.
busy moving.
You know, low key, when I
during
was
the first
driving
one.
here today into the studio, I was thinking, why did we put it on Wednesday? I was like, I could have
Done
easily
Friday.
said Friday.
That's what I was thinking too,
It's
but I
okay.
was like, here we are.
Oh man, we're here.
I mean,
Let's
it
get
gives
done.
us more time for this next portion of reading. It's just we found out that we won't really need it. It's less reading.
Yeah.
So it's really we set that up. tough.
I don't know. But
It's
all right,
okay.
let's dive in.
Mr. North and Mr. South.
Mr.
Yeah,
North,
those were
Mr.
okay.
South.
I was reading that and I'm like, it makes sense why they called Mr. North Mr. North
Yeah.
and Mr. South Mr. South.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
did that
you're
on
either
purpose.
going up or down. And
Oh.
yeah.
There you go. Time, energy, and money. They allocate their time, energy, and money efficiently in ways conducive to building wealth.
Page 71.
Page
That's what we're talking about.
71 is where we're starting off, ladies and gentlemen. And I have a highlight on the couple pages in. My first highlight's on 74. But anyone got any highlights so far? I want to break it off. Starters off.
I thought that
Come on, Sam.
I basically just highlighted the first line with the starting where it said efficiency is one of the most important components of wealth accumulation. Simply, people who become wealthy allocate their time, energy, and money in ways consistent with enhancing their net worth. And then it goes down to say, pause allocate nearly twice the number of hours per month to planning their financial investments as UAWs do. Is that what we're saying? There's not like UAs.
No.
You got to say pause. You don't say PAWs. Are we saying pause? Because in my head, that's how I'm reading it.
yeah.
But you got to go UAWs for that one. And I
Yeah.
don't like how they did that.
Yeah.
Even though I
I think
get it.
when I started reading, I completely forgot what PAW and UAW stand
I had
for
to go
again.
back.
I had to
got
go
it. No,
back.
dude, I got it. It's
What is it again?
Prodigious accumulator of wealth and under accumulator of wealth.
Yeah.
But I don't like that. Like in my head, I just go pause,
Pause.
and then for UAWs, I go UAWs.
In
my
your head too.
Yeah, I hate.
I'm the same way.
'Cause then I go
did
to
the exact
say it.
same thing.
I don't know, cause it's a
You might
It's-
have to just say it. You
Spell
might have to bite the bullet and say
PAWs.
PAW.
yeah, cause pause does not sound good.
Maybe when doing it, but
Yeah.
no, yeah, efficiency was definitely a big thing on here. But yeah, like
Crazy.
Miguel said, Dr. North and Dr. South was the big highlight in this chapter. I had something on 74. It says this is where it's kind of get introduced between Dr. South and Dr. North. It goes, in fact, among all major high income producing occupations, physicians have significantly low propensity to accumulate substantial wealth, which is crazy. So for every one doctor in the PAW group, there are 2 that are in the UAW category, which I was surprised by that. You're talking doctors,
Yeah.
like I think they said what Mr. North and Mr. South make what $700K a year,
Mm-hmm.
and
Last year they each earned more than 700.
yeah,
Yep.
each made more than $700,000, and one is literally living basically paycheck to paycheck, and the other one is like good for years and years.
Yeah.
Wild.
I highlighted that too. It's crazy because sorry.
No, you go.
No, I was just saying like it's very crazy that you can live paycheck to paycheck at 700,000 a year.
That is wild, man.
Like, what type of life are you really living with that?
That's what they say. We're like, money, like more money just like amplifies what you already are. So
Mhm.
that's where it's just like, if you are consuming above whenever you're, making 100,000, like, then you're just gonna continue that. Like, then you're gonna always want to buy. Okay, I used to get the budget version of this. Now I want the expensive
Mhm.
full price version of this or something like that. I'm like, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a lot of money. Like to your point, like I don't know. I mean,
Like,
your lifestyle. It
That's the
obviously
lifestyle
comes down to
creep.
the lifestyle, but
Lifestyle
it's like,
creep.
holy cow.
But and then following up, I had something which we kind of talked about this too. I think I literally saw it. You highlighted the portion too.
Uh,
High income PAWs are significantly less likely than UAWs to hold graduate degrees, law degrees, or medical degrees. Millionaires typically indicate on our survey, quote unquote, business owner with, quote, some college, 4-year college graduate, or no college. So really, when I read that, I said like degrees don't really matter. Like there's no linear, there's no correlation when it comes to getting a PhD and you being, wealthy, having a good net worth and becoming a millionaire.
would you say that's even more prevalent now? Like, not to say it wasn't always an option, but it's more like there's a lot more, like, entrepreneur is a field that is like you can do a lot with technologies. Just for example, like create your own tech business in some way, or that wasn't there in the past. You think it's just like like years and years ago, call it 100 years ago, would have been much more difficult to like be an entrepreneur, or and then on the converse of that, going to college had more of a benefit because it would lock you into one of those higher paying jobs just because there weren't as many ideas out there yet for like entrepreneurial stuff? Or is that like, where do you fall with that?
The way I pertain to that is the access of knowledge. Back then, pertaining it,
Access, exactly.
when it was 100 years ago, there was no internet. Even maybe 80 years ago. I'm not sure when the internet
Like,
was.
quick example, spin an Etsy shop, and now all of a sudden, like, you got Etsy, you got this little rock
Oh,
tumbler kit, and now, I mean, I don't know that would lead you to be a millionaire, but you streamline it enough to a certain point, and it's like you can get wealthy or
Oh,
make money off of
yeah.
it in ways that you obviously couldn't before. Like, there's more ways to make money.
Well, yeah. There's more with the internet. There's more different ways to make money, but on top of that, there's the knowledge to hone in on your craft. I mean, there's been countless amount of times where I've looked up tutorials or, interested about marketing or something like that, where you're getting probably either close or, sometimes even better knowledge than you would with a marketing degree or going through university. I'm sure all of us here have done that. So I think, yeah, I think definitely in this day and age, when it comes to specific degrees, yes, college is worth it. Doctor, stuff like that. Like, you're gonna need that time to put in, but a lot of them these days, like, you might as well put in the same amount of work, do your own research, because you're gonna learn that way properly without applying all that debt that comes with college.
And then one of the big highlights I had on 75 was like, going to college. What it does is it delays. What they focus on is it delays when you can start making money. It
Yep.
says begin earning and investing early in your adult life, because like if you're going to college for 5-10 years to be a doctor, that's they even use that one-to-one example of someone who starts a business right out of high school because they're a dropout or whatever, and starts making money for 10 years. You don't even have to make that much money to make more than zero.
Yeah.
If you're just going to college and even accumulating debt as compared to building wealth, like that's like,
Oh, yeah.
that's like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. If you're not working and you're going to college, you're putting yourself in the hole compared to someone that's working at Chick-fil-A or something like that, just like a starter entry job. It's wild. And then,
I like just real quick. It said, I thought this was a cool quote. Remember, wealth is blind. It cares not if its patrons are well educated.
yeah,
So it's just
but
part of it.
yeah, no, especially if you don't know what you want to do in college.
That's the true part, because that's what they tell you. Go to college, figure out what you want to do.
No, yeah, my sister's actually going through that right now, and yeah, like, she's taking a gap year to kind of figure it out. She was about to graduate, and then she's like kind of pulling back. She doesn't really want to know, and I'm like, hey, you might as well, like, I was talking to mom about this yesterday, like, you might as well just like if she doesn't know what to do, like, let's get her out of the college, like, let's have her work and figure out what she wants to do.
It can be more fulfilling to actually have money coming in compared to going to school and doing something that you aren't even really that in love with, you know.
Right. And I get it. Like the other thing is like, how do you know what you want to do without learning how to do it? And I was like, but like you can get a job like anywhere. Like she's in music, so like you could get something that's a lower entry but still in that type of field and still get a feeling of like how how it works, you know.
I mean, something that I never had the interest in doing, but it would have been super helpful that my younger brother did, is he shadowed like 5 different jobs this past summer.
Yeah.
And he literally changed his major because of it. He had
Your younger brother?
Yes, he had told me exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to be like a nutritionist. He's going to school.
You mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's going to school to be a dental hygienist.
Is he really now?
Yes. He was going to be a nutritionist. Then he wanted to open his own gym. Then he shadowed 5, 6 different jobs. He's going to be a dental hygienist.
Smart,
Wow.
So it's just like, I'm like, man, dude, you're smart. He was still, but he's only been in college for I think a year and a half now. So you haven't really gotten to that point yet. But like he's going to Mizzou, so it's even more important.
Oh my
to
gosh.
know what you're doing.
State university stuff
but,
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like so that's the thing. And shadowing is a huge thing. I kind of thought I knew what I wanted to do. So I guess I'm a little bit luckier. And then it turned out I didn't end up wanting to do that. But I thought I knew what I wanted to do going.
Dude,
in.
and that happens a lot more. I mean, you're in the majority.
Yeah,
when it comes to that.
For sure.
But
No, that's
yeah,
good, though.
little side note, but yeah, building on top of that, he on the following page 76, of course there are exceptions, but people who spend many years in college, professional school, or graduate school are more likely to have higher level of household overhead than less educated people. So that just kind of builds on like there are exceptions, you know, when you do get the medical degrees and stuff like that, but typically it doesn't work in your favor getting a higher education, which nowadays definitely does help to know that. You guys have anything? My next one, I read it a while. I think the last thing I have is on 83 is my next highlight of it.
I liked on 78 where it says that's where they introduced kind of Dr. North and Dr. South, and he says operating a household without a budget is akin to operating a business without a plan, without goals, or without direction. And it's like if you look at it, I mean, people don't tend to look at their house that way. So if you look at it as like, oh, you're just being like no one shows up to work just not knowing what to do, not knowing what their tasks are. It's because it's like almost assumed. And for these, you know, PAWs, it's assumed that they're going to sit down and do their planning and stuff like that for their household as well, which is if you becomes part of your routine. I think we talked about that a little bit on Monday. You know, if you can make it part of your routine, it even shows you time over time how not that they spend more time worrying about it, but the PAWs spend almost less time planning than the UAWs could spend in whatever else they're doing that's not really building towards their wealth, but they think it actually is. Like if you would just contribute that time. But.
No, yeah. I think that is a little bit further how, especially when it gets into buying the car.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a
long section.
Yeah, that was a really long section.
I was like,
dude.
this is not gonna. I started reading it, and there was like 20 pages left because I knew where we were reading through, and I was like, this isn't gonna be the rest of it. So I wonder what. And then they somehow made it the rest of the entire chapter. I was like, how about that?
Yeah.
They really go into detail.
Basically, I don't know if I even have that highlighted. Basically, it was like the UAW knows a lot about cars, right, and wants to shop for the best deal. But he was spending way too much time shopping for the best deal than just buying a cheaper car. It was something like that, right?
That's
in summary.
And then always was like forced, like more specific on like a higher fashion model, and then also like wanting it to be brand new.
Yeah.
For the most part, like that was another limiting factor. But
on 79 in the middle, I highlighted that little section. Even when I was 11 years old, I saved my first $50 from working in a grocery store. It's just like today, only today the numbers of zeros change. More zeros, but it's the same rule, same discipline. So, yeah, I just thought of that, and I'm like, if you don't have good money habits now, when you get more money, it's just going to be even worse for you.
Yeah.
So.
And it puts a whole like stranglehold on how important it is for a parent to like instill that in their kids. Like it's almost like a direct correlation of kids are like, I saw my parents be frugal, so even if they want to buy more, like, you know, I'm still tend to lean on the frugal side. I saw my parents spend all this money and stuff like that. So I myself want to, like, you get conditioned to that lifestyle. It comes back to lifestyle a lot of the time, but parents end up having a huge role in just like the way that you live, and like kind of reflect that to your kids. It's like we all are either kind of like our parents or not like our parents on purpose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it has something to do with how we were brought up to a certain extent.
I think the worst is realizing you feel like you're not like your parents, and then down the line you look back and you're like, dude, I'm exactly like my dad.
Yeah.
You're like, I got that habit exactly.
Yeah, you are crazy.
I'm a little bit, but I got a little bit of my mom too. But speaking of that, of the parenting and finances, are you guys for or against doing obviously this is a little early for all of us, but doing allowances, weekly allowances for kids?
I thought about that. I think we said we would, but
Oh, so you guys are already talking about it.
yeah, but you have to, like, she has to do something.
Do something.
Yeah, you can't. We're not just gonna give you
Not
money.
giving you a
Yeah,
base
yeah.
plus
You have
no
to
commission, no.
do the right things, do what you're supposed to do, and then, because then that just in their mind, okay, like, I have to work for my money. Like, I have to do the right things in order to get paid. And yeah, another thing I wish my mom would have did. I mean, she's first generation in the States, so I can't really blame her on this, but setting up a credit card, like getting that credit card started for her early so we can just start building her credit. So by the time she gets to high school, her car payment will be like $150. And
Yeah.
I don't mind paying that.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay with me. So just stuff like that. But yeah, definitely allowances for sure. But you got to do something. You have to work for it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Thoughts, Landon?
Man, that's tough. I agree with what he's saying. We kind of weirdly, I almost had it like both ways. Like for a portion of time, whenever I was younger, it was like, you know, and it wasn't very much, but like whatever I get, like if I mopped the floor, I got like 25 cents or $1, and like eventually it was never enough money to really do too much with. But then once I got to a certain age, it was like, yeah, you go ahead and mow the lawn. You can sleep in the house tonight. You can eat the food tonight. You can, like, they didn't withhold anything from me for the most part. But once I got, especially I can tell you, once I got to, more 14, 15, 16, it was go umpire, go work at Hy-Vee.
Right.
And they'll
You're
pay
old
you.
enough
Like
now.
here, I mean, you want to eat food whenever, drink whatever, you go grocery shopping, put stuff in the cart. But then it got to a certain point where it was like, your allowance is being able to live here. Obviously.
Did you ever like withhold from doing like mowing the lawn and like a consequence happened like that?
No, yeah, it wasn't an option.
Oh.
It wasn't an option. I guess that
It's
was
like, go
kind
mow
of the
the
point.
lawn.
Where it's like
Door
it was like,
locked.
yeah, no,
You ain't coming
literally,
in.
no, it was, yeah. I mean, yeah, we all grow up with different parents. My dad was, pretty strict whenever it came to like getting chores done. It was funny. I was telling him, because he was helping me swap out locks for our new place. And I was over at Ryan's house. I've been doing like a Bible study with him, and it was the funniest thing. We were getting ready to eat dinner. I eat dinner with his family before we go off and talk. And he's got 3 kids. He's got 4 boys, and one of them, like, he had like dishes in the sink, and he's like, "Cole, get in here. You gotta clean the dishes." And he's just like, "No, it's not my turn. I unloaded the dishwasher." He's like, "Oh, Jackson, get in here." And I was like, "Man, that I can't wait for that." I was like, dude, I felt like a child again. It was always, oh my gosh, it was, but to a point that's cool because through my vantage point now, it's like, your kids are helping out your wife and it takes some work off your plate, but at the same time, I was just like, oh, it's just interesting to see it through a different lens that you don't obviously have whenever you're a kid. So it's crazy.
Oh, man, it's good.
But yeah, so what about you? I guess you asked a question. But I guess be quick. We were forever with it.
No, yeah, I'd say mine was like a little bit of both, where it was just like, yeah, like, hey, you do these things. Like, if I wanted something, it's like, all right, just keep doing what you're doing. It wasn't like anything like strict where like, hey, $10 for doing the trash or stuff like that. But it was more like flowy, where it was just like, hey, this is what I really want. Okay.
So like if you behaved good,
right, if you behaved well and you helped
to.
out and stuff like that, it wasn't like as strict of like in order, like $10 equals doing out the trash, stuff like that.
Now you're pretty mild mannered. Did you ever go through phases where you were just like not being good, and they would start not giving, like they would withhold stuff from you?
See, the thing is like I never went through that like rejection phase.
That's what I figured. Like you had a pretty good relationship with your parents,
Yeah,
maybe. while
Yeah,
you
I
were
mean, we
growing
were just
up.
always constantly busy. Like
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
it was with sports or stuff like that. So it was like we never had like that pushback like while growing up,
Yeah.
which is very, yeah. So it's
pretty
always
rare,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare.
That's good,
It's
bro.
good because
That's
that tension
great.
can follow into adulthood. You don't even really,
Yeah.
and then you got to deal with some stuff like that. So
Yeah, like I've always just been like ever since like I've been young, just like I've just always been to myself and then like independent where like I'm either like they always say like where's Chase? He's either like taking something apart or like building something new.
Dude, that's
That's
so.
all I would do.
So you were, and I know your parents probably thought you were the biggest blessings because you were not getting in trouble with friends, were you? Like you weren't doing crazy stuff. and,
Nah,
like,
I
getting
didn't
in
really have
trouble.
many that friend. I didn't have much friends.
I mean,
so.
but I was kind of the same way where it wasn't just like I wasn't trying to go out and like hang out and do all this stuff where you could get in trouble.
Yeah.
And like, and then at school, but I mean, I feel like you even, a little bit more reserved. So, I mean, if you're not getting in trouble at school and stuff like that, I feel like that would make parenting so much easier. Because I
Right.
see some of the stuff that Sam's got to deal with some of these kids, and I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
Dude, some kids are
yo,
wild.
it makes me
Yeah.
not want to have kids sometimes. Not even in that way. It's just like, yo, like that's a lot.
But-
Like I don't want to bring that into the world.
I mean, usually though, from what I've been hearing, like, cause like I like my fiance's with kids and stuff,
Mhm.
and she's like in the schools now. A lot of those kids that act out is because they're having trouble at home.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You know,
man.
the parents aren't giving them that much attention, so they're acting out to get the attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
That's true.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's kids that are acting out that come to school in the same outfits.
Yeah.
It's like, dang.
I know,
sad,
man.
bro.
You feel for that for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely
it's a
feel for
sad
that.
But
situation.
I wanted to bring it up because I was wondering, one of the people that I follow, Patrick Bet David,
Mhm.
his way he does his allowance is it's by books. So they'll do like for instance a birthday,
Oh,
they'll
I see
get
what
them
you're saying.
they'll get them the books that or the things that they want, but it equals books. So
One book is one present or something.
yeah, it would be like, hey, this is 3 books, and they'll throw it on the top shelf so they can see it,
Mhm.
but then they gotta crush out the books,
Dude,
and
that's
then they
smart.
get that.
I like that.
That's
Yeah.
really good.
Because you can get I do think there's something chemical about sitting down and reading and gaining knowledge
Yes.
probably at no matter what age. Because like there were even books that I would get lost in and they weren't even educational whenever I was growing up.
Yeah.
Where it's just, but I think that if you can develop some of those habits, especially with more technology than ever, like it's scary how dependent we can get on that sometimes, or just like the crave for it.
iPad kids, man, that's a
It's
real
crazy.
Yes.
thing.
Dude, I was
That's
going
a
to get the
real
U-Haul
thing.
the other day, and the kid walks in the door. I got there before the guy got there, just like a couple minutes. He's walking in with this little kid, just opens up the door, and he's like, Dad, where's the iPad? And he's like, no iPad for right now. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, that's good parenting. But this kid wanted the iPad the second he walked in his
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
I'm like, and you get, because like you remember how kids, I mean, how it is to be a kid. I can't honestly imagine if that was at our disposal. Like, I had like a little
Man.
Game Boy, and I wanted to play it a good amount.
On
But
the
like it wasn't like it wasn't enough like the access that they have right now. Like I
Yeah.
feel like they say we're growing up in a real tough time
yeah.
as far
bro.
as like trying to grow up,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
inform
it's-
yourself and whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever give my kid an iPad.
That's what, bro. We said the same thing.
You
Like,
said that? You
yeah,
said you're a no
Even
iPad
when-
house?
with her her phone eventually one day. Like, yeah, we're waiting a little while. You don't need a phone right now. Just be a kid and enjoy yourself. Like,
Yeah.
go have some real fun.
Yeah.
Touch grass,
Yeah, exactly. Literally, bro. Just go outside.
touch grass.
But I'm gonna bring you back to the book. I thought this was an interesting fact about the cars on page 86. It says, "Consider this fact: most millionaires we have interviewed never in their lifetimes have spent near $65,000 for an automobile. In fact, as we will report in Chapter 4, more than half the millionaires we interviewed never paid more than $30,000 for a motor vehicle." Now, this was written a little late, so add another 20,000 to that because of
Mhm,
inflation and stuff
right.
like that. I mean, we're talking still never more than 50, never more than 85.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Millionaires? That is crazy.
And then it even says on 87, note that fewer than 25% of America's millionaires are driving the current year's model, so they don't feel the need to swap. I mean, every year swap it out every year.
Yeah,
No, it's not a
crazy,
way
bro.
to.
but
Really don't need to.
I don't got anything until 99. You guys got
Um,
anything?
yeah, I have some on 89.
Sure.
89.
It's at the top of 89. What if you spend much of your time thinking about a lot of issues that concern you? You will spend less time taking action to solve these problems. And what if your fears provide a foundation for increased spending? You may be a member of the UAW group. And I was just thinking about that because even earlier in this portion of reading, we were talking about how like the PAWs spend a lot of time like budgeting, seeing how much they're spending, and it just, bro, it all makes so much sense because whatever you put your effort into is what, like, you reap the benefits of that. So um even before that, it says like the UAWs, they worry more about finances. They like literally just worry about it and like how I'm gonna make more or do more to get this and all that. But you don't really have to because I mean, from what we've been reading so far, it's just like no matter how much money you make, if you keep it within a certain confines, like you'll be able to save, you'll be able to do what you need to do.
Right.
So
Stick
And
to
you
the
s-
budget.
And you spend
Yeah,
so much
exactly.
of your mental capacity. Like that's the
Yes.
thing. You spend so much of your mental capacity reading that. Literally makes me think of Kobe Bryant,
mhm.
where he would just say like how do you why you this and that? It's like whatever the loss is, like it's no losses. I just put one foot in front of the other.
Yes.
Just literally just one foot in front of the other. All you got to do is shuffle forwards. Just don't stand still. Don't stay stuck in your same type of thing. And that's easier said than done for 90. I mean, he's 99.99999
Yeah.
for percent of people. But like, if you can get that down, I mean, most people aren't millionaires. Most people aren't financially independent. Like we're starting to find out. So like, that's what I was thinking too. Is like, yeah, any of that time that you're spending on that, you
Mhm.
got it's tough at first, right? But if you can start to condition yourself to be like, hey, I mean, this won't solve anything. Thinking about this, what can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Build,
definitely a good point.
yeah.
bro.
Discipline too.
Yes.
The dips.
So much needed.
Laney, you got anything before 99?
Just on the bottom of 90, it kind of touches on what we've been saying all morning, which is like having adult children who are UAWs greatly reduces the probability that their parents will ever become wealthy. Where it's like, and that's where we were talking about that relationship. Like, you're hurting yourself by not teaching discipline to your kids.
Mhm.
And you got to have it to teach it, right? But I mean, you're hurting yourself to like not, to, I mean, that's tough to even think about. Like, that's another thing. Obviously, kids are expensive, but they're as expensive as you can make as you make them.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, yeah, you got to pay for basic needs to a certain point, but I mean, if you build a self-sufficient kid over time, like, that pays so much dividends for
Mhm.
yourself and for them, especially too, which is kind of the whole purpose, right?
Yeah.
Crafting. So, you said you're all the way up to 99.
That's what I got, but just want to make sure that everyone else has caught up their highlights.
What you got? I had one on 94. I just wanted to touch on really quick.
Yeah, go for it.
It's talking about financial goals, and it says many high income producing PAWs and UAW. I'm so glad I'm not saying positive. PAWs and UAWs share similarly stated goals concerning wealth accumulation. But then you jump down and it says, but having a set of stated goals does not necessarily mean that one is committed to achieving them. Most of us want to be wealthy, but most of us do not spend the time, energy, and money required to enhance our chances of realizing that goal. So that's kind of what the focal point of the chapter is with the time, energy, and money. But like, yeah, it's like a lot of us, I mean, you ask somebody, like, you know, do you want to have a good day? Yes. Did you get your mind right in the
Right.
morning? Did you take some time to whatever? Did you find a way to create a happy space or whatever you need to do for that? The people that end up having a happy day will probably say yes. The people that end up having it hit the fan midway through might say no.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's all about. Yeah. It goes. Yeah. It goes with anything. Put in the work, you'll reap the benefits. You don't put in the work, you're just sitting there on the sidelines wanting to achieve the goal without putting in the
But
work.
almost thinking
Mhm.
it's not possible, it's not realistic for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, facts, man. It applies to everything. Now mine on 99. Do you guys have anything else?
My next one's at 100.
I got a little bit on the top of 99, but you go first. I've been going.
You're good. No, I'm on bottom.
You're on the bottom of it?
Yeah.
So first off, well, I guess I lied. On the very top of 98, I just put yikes next to this. It says UAWs, on the other hand, are much like some overweight people who occasionally starve themselves to reach their ideal weight, but more often than not, they regain all the weight they lost and more. So it's just like the analogies that it gives you. Like you said, it goes with everything. It goes with food. It goes with, like, I mean, basically discipline, right? Like that's a big, big word whenever it comes to this stuff. But I highlighted that chunk portion on the top of 99 where it says, those who succeed among the ranks of self-employed never take their economic position for granted. Most middle-aged people who are self-employed have seen good as well as bad economic times. They tend to offset the inevitable changes in their revenue by planning and investing. They must build and manage their pension plans by themselves. They have to rely on themselves for their current and future financial situations. More often than not, only the well-disciplined self-employed survive economically over the long run. So this just kind of applies to what we're doing, where it's like, it does, I mean, you see it in Gary Vee and you see it in a lot of the really powerful entrepreneurs where it's just like, you know, nothing is like, it's rare to see something just absolutely catch fire and take all the way off. Like you got to struggle a little bit. You go through some good times. Oh my gosh, how many times did we think we had it? Dude, this gift card idea. We're going to make so much money off this gift card idea or whatever certain things that we have talked about over time that like, oh, you know, first off, we were selling shoes, then we were doing all kinds of different stuff. Like you think you got it, step back, think you got it, step back. And then you finally start to get there. And it just like self-employed people have seen the good times and the bad times. And, you know, they're more disciplined enough to like stick with it in the long run. If you don't burn out on your first flame out, then, you know, it sets you up it gives those self-employed people kind of, and they got to rely on themselves. That's what they talk about a lot. So
Yeah.
it's really, you know, at the end of the day,
Builds that rigidity.
the only,
you know.
yeah,
Being at like I think Len and I joke all the time, like something can happen and we're like, yep, been through that. Like not even phased.
Yeah.
Just keep moving.
for sure.
You know, one foot after the other. But mine at the bottom of 99 is about this highlight. There's another issue to consider in the planning equation. UAWs spend less time planning their investments than they do PAWs, in part because of the nature of their investments. UAW considers cash, near cash, or equivalents such as savings accounts, money market funds, or short-term treasury bills to be investments. And then it jumps down. PAWs are more likely to invest in categories that usually appreciate in value and do not produce realized income. They tend to have a greater percentage of their wealth invested in privately held, closely held businesses, commercial real estate, publicly traded equities, and their pension plans and annuities, and other deferred categories. These types of investments require planning. They are also the foundation for wealth. So I think that's also something that I wanted to highlight and bring out there is like, you know, people say like, oh yeah, I'm investing. And it's like, oh, what are you investing in? Crypto. You're like, well, okay. Now, a little risky, like it might work out, but you know, I think, you know, the big guys that are really building their wealth, maybe putting maybe 0.1 of their percent of their net worth into something, investing in something like that. But at the end of the day, these millionaires are diverse, you know, are investing their net worth in stuff that is proven to work, proven to go up, and also diversifying and not just a single type of, you know, not everything's in stocks. They're dabbling a little bit in commercial, a little bit in public trading, a little bit in, you know, owning a business, stuff like that. And then you said you had something on 100?
Yeah, I was just highlighting some of the facts on
I think you guys
the
both
trading.
have the
I think we
same
both
stuff.
have the same thing. I thought this was crazy because this counteracted the book that we read about the trading.
Yes, bro.
Right?
So great. So, the one that I had is overall only about 9% of millionaires we have interviewed hold their investments for less than 1 year. Like, bro, less than a year?
I feel like, I mean, yeah, the stock and charting book that we read was like, if you want to really get into it,
Yeah.
like these people are like smart enough to
Passive.
find, yeah, because they're like, yeah, it goes on to say like, I mean, most of the people don't touch it for like 4 to 6 years or 2 to 4, whatever it is, because then it does become like a whole nother, I don't want to say chore, but it becomes a thing on your list that you need to do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not good to set it and forget it, especially for long-term things. But yeah, then it comes down to, it talks a little bit later about like, Warren Buffett only invested in things that he knew or had not even inside information on, but it was at least well educated in, where it's like, you don't need to jump at every fad. That's what they want you to do, especially the cold callers or whatever they call them, trying to get your business. Like it just makes more sense to not lose, like to only win in whatever the amounts are, and to not get burned. Like that's basically gambling. If you're gonna try and space it out and win everywhere when you don't know or have the time, right? If time's the biggest thing that we're trying to really streamline, like to where it doesn't take as much, like the more you invest, the more you have to keep track of. I mean, it's just basically the way that it works.
Yeah. Time allocation's huge.
Yeah, the more you spread it out, at least, compared to finding a few and just funneling it in there.
Yeah.
That's good.
My next thing's on 110.
Yeah, I went flying right. Yep.
Yeah, me
So
too.
so we're on to the next chapter then. What is that? You aren't what you drive. They believe that financial independence is more important than displaying high social status. I was about to say high school status. High social status. That is the next chapter you're on. So you said 110?
Yeah.
Go for it.
This is just a little highlight what it says. It says, if your goal is to become financially secure, you'll likely attain it. But if your motive is to make money, to spend money on a good life, you're never going to make it.
It's real.
Yeah, exactly.
That's real. You want to know what's maybe more real that I'd never thought of? On page 111, where it says, some wealthy parents buy their adult children homes in affluent neighborhoods. Great idea. Perhaps they should realize that affluent neighborhoods are high consumption neighborhoods. From property taxes to the pressure to decorate, from the perceived need to send their children to expensive private schools to the 40,000 four-wheel drive luxury suburban, the children are now on an earn to spend treadmill. Thanks, Mom and Dad. And I was like, when we use it all the time, all these NBA players, all these expensive, oh man, I'm getting my mom with and that's great. Like get them, but then I'm putting them in this nicest neighborhood.
Yeah.
Putting them in the nicest neighborhood, right? Which is super cool. I mean, right? To most people, but it's like literally you were on that earn to spend treadmill then, because of property taxes will be one thing, which is insane. But like the lifestyle that you're keeping up whenever it comes into that, like and if you're the NBA player, you got your own lifestyle, and plus now so that becomes like a really tough thing for me to read, because I never really thought about it. I would always just be like, yo, that's so smart. Like, yeah, get your parent in this super nice gated community, all this stuff like that, or whatever. Like even move them right across the street from you and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. That doesn't, reading it this way, it's like, that's so clearly not financially smart. Like you're putting them in a tough spot. Get them a super nice house in the country where they can like do, or something like that, or at least on a separate area. But whenever it says putting them in like high consumption, affluent areas, I'm just like, affluent areas, like that is like, that is a tough, like you're not getting out of that. And to ask someone to then get out of that once you do it is like,
right. You're like, hey, Mom, I got to sell this house. Like, because now the house came with a car, and that car, came with the everyone's now at the country club. And so now I'm paying the country club fee. Yeah.
And now I just got injured, and now I may not get my next contract. And, but I know we just signed up. So we got a mortgage on this house for the next 20 years. And, I was 22 and I didn't expect to get hurt this young.
Yeah.
So many
dude.
It's like,
and I just think about it for athletes so much, because they get so much money. Like it's one of the like highest consumption jobs, or highest income jobs for just like a spread across for the like the generality in the entire job. Then I'm just like, man, that is like, that's crazy to think about now.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about now.
My next one is on
doesn't grow on
117.
trees.
No.
This no Rolls Royce thing. I just thought that was really interesting because it brings your perspective back. Like the fact that Mr. Allen, as they used in the book, he was supposed to be gifted a Rolls Royce by
his partners.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's like, I do not want that because my lifestyle is not. It doesn't align with that.
Bro, could you actually, literally, if I gave you a Rolls Royce, would you be able to turn it down?
He was angry.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I probably would have to, unless my income is like, it aligns with that, because you got to think of it like this: the maintenance on a Rolls Royce as well.
Let's say that's all.
Not
covered.
the
Let's say let's say I pay for that. Say
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all done.
But then it doesn't.
Come
Yeah.
on.
But even then, it's just like, what if he has a bad day? Are
That's
you gonna
true.
get it in writing?
That's true.
Because what if he has a bad day, or what if his business goes under? Because say you guys aren't working together or whatever under the same business, which we kind of are right now. But say he's not, it's like, because these guys had all kind of, he had taught these people, they went off and
Yeah.
did their own thing, and then they came back to him.
Mhm.
So it's just like, it's basically the way he looks at it is not as a gift. He looks at it as extra money he has to spend.
Yeah.
It's like, I already have a car that's paid off most likely.
Yeah.
And all this stuff like that. Like that, I mean, that is a great point. Like reading that, I was like, man, that makes sense. How in the world are you turning down a Rolls Royce though?
Yeah.
Like you can read all that and literally understand it, and then just be like, but how are you turning that down
understandable.
though?
He's like, I can't throw my bloody fish in the back of my
Oh,
my
Right.
Rolls Royce. Like
Just
I
for
can't.
his lifestyle,
Yeah,
yeah.
bro. Just imagine taking a Rolls Royce off road too. It's like doesn't make sense.
Does not make sense.
Yeah, bro.
do you imagine? It's like, yeah, I'll take the Rolls Royce, but I'm using it my way, and it's just you come back and it's got dents in it, and it's
Right.
just whatever. It's like,
Oh my
hey,
goodness.
this is my dude. Just riding. That'd be kind of a power move. These guys got
Would
like
be.
the only
Treating
beat
it like
up,
a
the
pickup.
only beat up Rolls Royce around. This thing. It would not last, but that's
Mm.
funny though. That is, I mean, that part was crazy.
Yeah.
To even think about, like, you got to look at it a different way. Because before this book starts, like, do you see yourselves getting asked that question? Say it's my final question. You can have any car that you want right now. Would you have answered it? No, I don't think I can have my dream car right now. I don't think we would have answered it that way. Maybe, but me
No,
personally, I would have been like,
I'm picking a car.
probably give me a McLaren
yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
or something along those lines.
Mhm.
And then I don't know if I'm just gonna speak for myself. Like I would still like to think that now reading this, I'm like, okay, like now I would figure out what's going on. I wouldn't just be like yes. Before I'd be like
Yeah.
yes, whatever it is, go ahead.
Yeah.
Now it'd be like, all right, what would I have to do to make this work? Is it feasible? Because it's a really cool thing. And then if not, then it's like, okay, I get it. But like,
Yeah. I think everyone likes the idea of owning a super nice car like that, but they don't realize there are those costs
Bro,
involved.
the fees, like tires, and then okay, so my friend had a Porsche Panamera, and it was like he told me how much it was to get an oil change, and I'm like, bro, there's absolutely no way. He said it's $700.
What?
Yeah,
That's like what, every 3 months, right? You gotta
Yeah.
like do
No,
it if
well,
you're
it's
daily
every X
driver.
amount of miles,
this
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
It depends.
for this, it's like I think he said it's like a couple times a year, but like bro,
Yeah.
$700 just to go get an oil change, like I don't know, bro.
Dude.
That's pretty crazy, but that's what comes behind having a nice car.
A lot of things are great in theory.
And the tires were $1,000 each.
Just for it to sit out in the parking lot.
Yeah, so you got to use it every day, but you don't want to because then you're gonna add to the.
Yeah, you have to pay for it.
Nah, that's such a headache.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's a money sucker. They talk
Wow.
about like all these millionaires having Detroit metal for the most part.
yeah.
Later
Yep.
on,
Yep.
so
Favorite? What was it? Favorite car was F-150.
yeah, dude, I
Yeah.
got that. No, I actually have 2 highlights on that page for page 115. Is someone before that?
I'm on 117.
You good?
Yeah, I'm at 120 is my next one.
Yeah, so it just said just 2 notes real quick. So they start talking about the makes of motor vehicles and saying like what types of motor vehicles do millionaires drive. So like you just said, note that the Ford F-150 pickup is the number one vehicle sold in America. That's just the number one vehicle sold in America.
Still is.
But then it goes down to then it goes like Cadillac, Lincoln, and then number 4 it says a 3-way tie between Jeep, Lexus, Mercedes. But it says almost all millionaires who own Jeeps choose Grand Cherokee Sports utility model. In fact, this model ranks first among all models owned by millionaires. So the Jeep Grand Cherokee is the number 1 model owned by millionaires.
Makes sense.
Who would have thought? It even goes on to say, like, then how do you know if someone driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee is a millionaire? You don't.
Yeah, that's the
You
point.
just don't.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point. That's the point. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, they had a few different highlights on, or they just kind of gave you the model breakdown, and it's like no foreign cars, which is basically the point that they were trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
But amongst these millionaires, is they're not really buying luxury cars for the most part.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Miguel, what was your highlight? 115, right?
No, 120.
Oh, 120.
Yeah.
Well, building on top of that, I highlighted on 117 about the foreign cars. It says, for instance, approximately 70,000 Mercedes were sold in this country last year. This translates to about 0.5% of the more than 14 million motor vehicles sold. At the same time, there were nearly 3.5 million millionaires households. What does this tell us? It suggests that the members of the most wealthy households don't drive luxury imports.
It's true, man.
They did the research for
They
us.
do,
bro.
man.
There's a quick side note. There's a house in Jacksonville. It's a huge like mansion on its own plot of land, and the car that drives into the gate is this old minivan.
Stop it.
Just the old.
Are you
minivan.
serious?
That's the car that they drive. Yep.
That's crazy.
Dude, that goes back to my question. I think it might have been my question last. Oh, I just realized I don't have a question for the end of this. But my question last week was like, what would be your most expensive? Like, what would you choose? Some people would be like, because I've gone through phases of this. I've also been on arguably the hyper consumer where I'd rather have a nice both. But like, would you rather have a really nice house or a really nice car? You pick one. Like, that's what you get to choose. And like, someone's like, I don't really care about, like, my job doesn't need me to have a nice car, or or I'm not driving very far, or this and that, or I am driving far, so I don't want a super nice car, whatever that relationship is. So it's like, but I want to come home to a nice house.
Yeah.
Nice house I can take care of, this and that. I love having, my 40 family members over that come in to stay. Like, this is the location. Like, then you can see that. Like, I think you can really see where people's, I don't know, ideals and stuff and values are if they're not just abundantly wealthy. If they're like, I've got, that even shows discipline in an area, which means that they got discipline.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just have, I feel like you don't just have like limited discipline. Like, if you have discipline for something, then you made this decision with discipline to get this nice house.
Yeah.
Because you're not worried about it. Like, you're not struggling through it. But yeah, no, that's a good point. That's crazy though. Having a nice, driving a minivan, dude.
Yes, bro. And the
Swaggin'
mansion
wagon.
is huge. Like,
Really?
it's on its own plot of land too.
So I'm
like,
saying you don't
that's
got to keep
crazy,
up
bro.
the high consumption lifestyle with the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
This
just made their
is
own
like-
neighborhood.
They wrote the
That's-
book. They wrote the book.
All right.
Oh,
What's
that's
yours
great.
on 120, Miguel?
120 at the very bottom. Networking is alive and well among the affluent in America. Many wealthy self-employed business owners believe strongly in reciprocity. And I actually highlighted that and put me because I'm like, I think that's like one of the biggest things of like human connection, connecting with people, and then, being able to trade goods, because that's how people did it back in the day. I mean,
Right?
yeah,
The
where,
Oregon
like,
Trail.
yeah, just trading goods the whole time, like, and then in our cases now, I mean, it would be services, like, hey, you come do this and I'll trade off for that. Like, even, bro, my fiance, she gets her hair done by this young lady, and she just tattoos her in return.
Yeah.
So instead of paying $300 altogether, they just trade services
Right.
and they get the jobs done. They
Right.
both happy. So that's something I really want to do. I want to be able to go anywhere and like be like, hey, like, can I come do this?
And your
for-"
personality, I mean, it really
position?
comes down to how you are and how you treat people a
Yeah,
lot of the
bro.
time.
Yep.
A lot of the time. We've brought this up before, but like, his dad's accountant would always just want some buffalo chicken dip for his stuff. And then we've even talked about how the accountant would do the taxes for the golf course, gets to golf for free, stuff like that. Like, yeah, and that's, I mean,
It's
the
pretty
more the
smart,
more
bro.
people you know,
Yeah.
the more people you know, and the reputation along with that, of course.
And everyone wins.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
wins. They're happy. You're happy.
Yes.
Life moves on.
Yeah, bro.
Life moves on.
I have something on 124. Let me just read it. See if it's actually even worthy.
They're talking about the different types of. This is where you're getting into the different type of vehicle buyers.
Yeah.
So I guess
Oh,
here,
yeah.
let me jump back to 118 because it says there are 4 distinct buyer types, because this is basically the rest of the book or the rest of the portion. There are 4 distinct buyer types within the millionaire population. Type 1 is new vehicle prone dealer loyalist. So you like new vehicles, but you're prone to a certain dealer. That's 28.6%. Type 2 is new vehicle prone dealer shopper. So you like new vehicles, but you like to shop around and you're not tied to a certain
Yeah.
person. That's the highest percent at 34.8. Type 3 is used vehicle prone dealer loyalist. So you don't mind used vehicles, but you still want to shop with somebody that you know or that you're loyal to. 17.1% there. And then type 4 is used vehicle prone shoppers. It's 19.5. So you don't mind the used vehicle, but you like to shop around for the best price. So that's basically the 4 subtypes that they kind of get into. And it says that on 123, it says used vehicle prone dealer loyalists have the highest percentage of entrepreneurs among their ranks. I just highlighted that for us. Thought that was interesting.
What was it? Used vehicle prone dealer?
Prone dealer, yeah. Middle of 123, it says used vehicle prone dealer loyalists have the highest percentage of entrepreneurs among their ranks.
Honestly, that makes so much sense because, like,
Yeah.
It says entrepreneurs are extremely price sensitive when acquiring motor vehicles.
yeah, that makes so much sense. But, like, for any services, like we have this AC guy that does our stuff. Like, I don't go and shop around. Like, I know he's a good dude and he's making money. But, like, I don't go shop. Like, I go, hey, I just call him up.
Yeah.
I'll go, hey, James, like, AC's down. Like, we got to get this fixed. Like,
Same thing with like mechanics,
yeah.
stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that. Like
for sure.
I use his mechanic. I mean I don't know enough about cars, but I just take it there. The bill's high enough, but I know I can still afford it. And it's
Right.
just like he seems like a good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
Stuff like
Explains
that.
it.
Like
yeah.
I think that goes to the reputation that we've talked about.
Very
and stuff.
interesting.
Yeah, but
yeah, that was a bad highlight. See, I have a better one on 130, 131. But does anyone have anything before that?
Nothing too crazy.
No.
on the top of 125, it's just talking about the used vehicle prone shoppers. And it says those in this group are most price sensitive and they get the most aggressive bargain hunters and the most aggressive bargain hunters that we have profiled. They spend less on average than do members of any other group. They spend less on average than do the members of any other groups. So like the used vehicle prone shoppers are the most price sensitive.
They're hunting for it.
And they get
Yeah.
the best deal.
Yeah. Because
Look-
I mean, which makes sense, right? You have less preference on making it be brand new, but you care the most about getting the value, so you shop around. So they spend.
Yeah, they're looking for a specific used vehicle from the best dealers that they can
And
find.
they're smart too, right? They say even a lot of the times they'll look for years that are 3 models or right around that 3-year model mark, where it's
Which
been
is so interesting.
so smart. It's so weird because a lot of times, like they even had the story where like you can buy it at that price, use it for X amount of time, year, 2, 3, whatever, and sell it at the same price,
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I'm like that's just smart.
3 years old. 2021. Doesn't even seem that old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It
dude.
really doesn't, bro.
Dude,
right?
I'm driving
That
my
sounds brand new.
I'm-
Hey, I got a 2021 Lexus. You're like, damn, that thing just came right off the. No, that's 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You're like,
dude,
what?
right?
Yeah.
I got my 2015 and it's got all these like features that my previous car didn't have, and I've had this car for like 4 years. So like it was
Dude, your
newer then.
Honda? Your
Yeah.
Hyundai?
Hyundai, yeah, 5 years. Has it been 6?
Dude,
Wow.
it's been way longer.
It's been 6 years.
yeah.
So I guess it would have been about 3 years. Actually, that's interesting. It was about 3 years old whenever I got it when I moved down here in 2018.
and
19.
your Hyundai was different because you guys bought it totaled, right?
Yeah,
and then you got
yeah.
it redone.
Yeah, it just got I got the trunk fixed a little bit. It got totaled from the back. So yeah, no, that's crazy just to think about. Like my car still feels like it has all these nice new features,
Yeah.
which is like whenever I hear my younger brother is dating this girl whose dad is works at a car dealership,
Mm.
and she has like the newest model of the something, but it does like all the. I asked him, he's like, yeah, I've driven it before. Like it self drives, it self parks, it does all that stuff. I was just like, dude, I literally can't imagine that. That would be like a kid in a candy shop for me, where it's just like I've never seen technology like this. Like I've seen it on TV, I guess, but it almost seems make believe
Dude.
until you see it. Like
Yeah.
you get to see it firsthand.
I don't have a rear view camera in mine.
No, but your car, yeah, your
Yeah.
car, your car's trash. But but Savannah, bro, Savannah and her
Sa-
parents,
Yeah.
like they have some of the
they
crazy.
have the Tesla.
I haven't
Yeah.
even sat in those cars, so I'm just like
It's
that
nice.
would be crazy.
It's definitely nice.
Yeah, I
bro.
mean, I'm just a country boy,
Nah,
so
man.
haven't really gotten to see all that stuff yet. But like that's crazy to me. But the 3-year gap, I thought that was pretty interesting how they kind of scheduled that out.
Yeah.
Smart
good.
though, bro.
Very smart.
There you go. I'm definitely using that next time I'm buying a car,
Yeah.
even if it's a
Me
Tesla
too.
or whatever. I'm gonna be like, it's 2028. We're going with a 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's
yeah,
negotiate
no.
that price.
Exactly. Now let's negotiate that price.
Yeah, bro.
But
It's
I
crazy.
had something on 131. Does anyone else have anything? And that's gonna do it. That's gonna
Yeah.
be my last highlight too.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Mine was it's in bold. It's much easier in America to earn a lot than it is to accumulate wealth. Why is this the case? Because we are a consumption-oriented society, and the high-income producing non-millionaire neighbors of used vehicle-prone shoppers are among the most consumption-oriented people in America.
Makes sense.
It's our society.
Yep.
So it's
Make a
gonna-
lot, spend even more.
All right, I got one final highlight if no one else has one.
Yeah.
All the way to 138. So I highlighted this, and this has already jumped to the back of my biggest takeaways because I'm going to bring this back up at the end of the book. But it says great offense and poor defense translates to under accumulation of wealth. And the way when they use offense, defense, I love that, right? Because we're talking sports. Like, you got to have elements of both. You can't just have great offense, terrible defense.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have
yeah.
great offense, okay defense, or good defense. But the better you are at both, the more money you're gonna make. Like, that's the correlation that you're working for. Like, that makes so much sense. Like, yeah, great offense, which is your income, like making all this money, but can you defend against spending all your money?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, putting it in those terms is like a kind of a pretty cool picture, I thought. And then just the final one at the bottom of 138, it says this is one of the telltale symptoms of being a UAW. UAWs usually think they have more wealth than their neighbors. Many UAWs also believe that people drive the best car that they can afford. So it's just like, don't worry about, I mean, go against society whenever it comes to like making preconceived notions. That's one of my big things, is like not having preconceived notions about stuff. And just, you're going to, like, that's just, this small man looking up, like, oh yeah, you're just judging people based off of what they have, what they show and stuff like that. But I mean, some of the best people drive around in not the nicest cars. So you're like, oh, that's just a great person. Yeah, that great person's also rich.
Yeah.
You just don't know it.
Yeah. You got anything?
I got.
No, man, that's it for me.
And that's going to wrap it up. Part 2. All done. Now, on to our favorite part, calculating out where we're going to read next.
So we got 141, but we did
141.
discover that we've been on the over as far as reading. So are we going through the acknowledgments, or is that where we cut it? Probably cut it at the acknowledgement. So it's 245 minus 1. You got a calculator? 245
245.
minus 141,
41.
and then divide that by 2.
52.
52 pages. So we're looking at about
Nice.
page 193-ish. So where are we looking at as far as chapters there? Come on, let's get lucky. We've been doing great. I'm thinking we're not getting lucky.
No, that's right in the middle.
It's in the middle of a chapter.
Yeah.
Shoot, did we go on the short end? Let's go to, we can't go to 175. Can we? It's only 30 pages.
175.
Or what's the alternative? Do we?
227.
No, wait. Let's do 130, the 175, because we already flexed it this week by trying to go so much.
Yeah.
So we have a little more time. Let's do short time, a short reading on a short week.
Oh,
Since
wait,
we're doing it next
211.
Monday.
211.
Yeah, let's do short reading on a short week since it's going next Monday again.
Okay.
And then we'll just finish it off with the final like 60 or 70 again.
Okay. Nice little read.
Makes
Nice little
sense.
30 pages.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
30
Definitely
pages.
makes sense.
So we're going up to 174, correct?
yes.
Yep, up to.
I'm writing that down. I got to go back and watch that episode. I don't know what I did. I had the pen.
There you go. There you go.
It's there.
So,
right now. I'm
part
checking
3.
myself.
Those that are listening,
And
141 to 174.
Got it.
174.
141 to 174. All right. Break. Now, on to our short snippets this week. Let's see here.
Let me
Who
hear
wants to go
some-
first?
Let me hear
You wanna
some
hear
Go real quick.
Fun
a long,
facts?
a long fact
No,
and a
no.
long quote.
Let's,
Well, I
let's
just
start
thinking.
this quote real quick.
All right, you
All right,
got
go
it.
for it.
If you want the rainbow, you have to deal with the rain first.
That's good. Honestly, when you started that off, I heard if you want the rainbow, taste the rainbow. I thought we were going there. I was like,
Shout out to Skittles.
Dude, Skittles has
That's
some
good, though. If you
whack
want-
commercials, man. I
Yeah, they
can't
do.
wait for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Gosh,
bro.
we got some
Oh my
out-of-pocket commercials
gosh.
coming up. The more we get into the future, the less restrictions I feel like there are on TV. It's crazy.
but
All right.
so say it again. Sorry, I was distracted.
It was a good one. You missed it.
If you want the rainbow, you have to deal with the rain first.
There you go.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts, but that's a quote. Now, facts.
Yes.
I still don't got my
Super
question.
Bowl's next weekend.
No.
No,
It's like weeks. It's weeks. It's like
a couple weeks.
February.
Is
'Cause
it?
don't they-
Yeah, there's
isn't
two,
it-
there's
isn't
2
it
weeks
like-
off. 2 weeks
Okay.
off.
Yeah,
okay.
there's
Man, they get time to prep. Oh, 'cause
Gotta get
they still
everybody out there.
play in.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they
you're right.
play this weekend, and then I think it's 2. But is it? It's on Sunday. Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Sunday.
all right. This is what? Okay.
Shock himself.
All right. I have 3.
This is not fair.
I
You
have
can just
3.
generate facts. What's
I have
my
3.
question gonna be?
So I was like, this is the first one that popped up, and I was like, this one's okay. Went to the next one. That one's a little better. The third one, it's kind of
The
crazy.
winner.
Fun fact, part 1. When stressed by a situation, take a moment to think whether you'll even remember this in 5 minutes.
That's my thing. What I try and do with whenever people cut me off in traffic.
Number 2. If you plant an apple seed, it's almost guaranteed to grow a tree of a different type of apple.
What the heck? What?
Wait, say that one more time.
That's crazy.
If you plant an apple seed, it's almost guaranteed to grow a tree of a different type of apple.
Then what you planted?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How does that even work, bro? That doesn't even make sense.
That's the
Dude, they're like
the
all
heck?
so you're basically saying that apple seeds carry the genes for every apple,
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
Basically.
Yeah.
Bro, how
It's
do
like the
apple
gene-
farms even work then?
That's what I'm saying.
That's
That
why
is-
you got to just
They just put the whole
you got to
apple on the
plant a
ground?
million of them. You got to plant a million of
Holy
them
crap.
because you never know. It's like, dang it, man! I wanted a freaking what are they even
Right.
called?
Some
Honeycrisp
Honeycrisp,
apple tree,
Right.
man.
Roll
but
the
I
dice. Got a red delicious.
yeah. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yo, I hate red delicious.
Really?
I don't think I
Yeah,
have a
I'm
those
not a
things
fan,
are
bro.
I don't
so
like
sweet.
Yeah.
And-
You don't like the
I
sweet
prefer
apples?
the Honeycrisp.
Nah,
I'm out.
I like the
The
I like the
green
one.
ones. You
Not
like the
no,
green
I don't
ones
like the
then.
greens. Those are
What?
2. I like the middle.
Oh, okay, because the green ones
I
are
think
like
it's I think it's the
sour.
Honeycrisp or
Honeycrisp,
something.
Yeah, bro.
The green are
Honeycrisp
sour.
Those
or
are the perfect.
Gala- Gala
where it's like
apples.
a little. Those aren't those like super fancy?
No,
I
no, it's
don't
just a
know.
fancy
Oh.
word. I
Yeah.
don't think it's that fancy.
But
no.
yeah, I like where it's a little mix, where it's like that kind of like yellow,
Yeah.
red,
Yeah.
orange. All right, and
We only get Honeycrisp.
no.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, there it is. A pop-up came up. That's fine.
Oh, okay. I got
Third fun fact of the day: the happier we are, the less sleep we require.
I like that.
yeah,
makes
because you're
sense.
you're not getting upset about the sleep that you missed, right? If you're happy. See,
I don't know.
See,
I
look
think
at
Those
this.
are.
They think
those
they're
are
so
some-
slick, man.
I don't know.
They talking.
That's
to
what
the
I'm saying.
slickest.
It was
They're
like
talking to the
the
slickest.
first one was okay. Second one was kind of crazy, and the third one I'm like, what?
It's fascinating.
That's
Dude,
pretty good, though.
I stumbled upon a great question.
There you go. I was actually
It-
just stalling for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So it's good
Because I
enough.
really just found it. It's really not great, but I'll be curious.
Did
and
you
I'm
look
glad-
it up?
Yeah, I did look it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to
Nice,
look this one up.
nice.
All right. Since we're talking about money, I'll ask you this one, guys, this one quick, but I think I probably know your answers, especially what you're going to say anyways. Do you enjoy spending money more or making money more? Like do you enjoy the feeling of spending money more or do you enjoy the feeling of making money more? As far as like,
Making.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Making
bro.
100%.
Making. I hate spending.
Yeah, me too.
Hate spending.
That's fair.
What about you?
No, I would say this. I don't know that I hate spending because it feels like you're spending what you earned. But I do think that you guys are both right. Yeah, probably making money. So here's the
Yeah.
real question. Gosh dang it, what was the real question? Because this was good.
Wait, so that was a lead up?
No, it wasn't really
I'm
even a lead up.
definitely-
It
bro.
was just another one that I saw.
It feels good.
So yeah, I actually was a lead up. So it's in the terms of making money. What's the first job that you guys got paid for? Probably leaving out chores, like where you worked a job and got a paycheck for it or some type of payment for it.
Mine was the gas station.
That is not possible.
I swear.
Oh my gosh, what is yours?
Chick-fil-A.
And how old were you?
18.
Okay,
My first time.
all right.
Chick-fil-A.
So like, I guess so. No babysitting. I guess that may not have been your guys' thing or
Nah,
anything.
I don't think
Anything like
anyone would
that.
trust me.
Yeah,
Same.
right.
Same.
Yeah, you party animal. Yeah, my first thing was like I was like 14 or 15, and I would umpire because they could pay you in cash. Because at 16, I started working at a grocery store.
Right.
But whenever I was like 14, 15, my mom would drive me out because you can't drive till 16, whatever. So my mom would just drive me out.
What? It's just a law. Whatever.
Hey, some places you can drive younger, but either way, yeah, no, my mom would just drive me over, drop me off. I'd umpire from like 4 to 7 or like do 3 games or something like that. And I mean, umpiring is honestly decent money, except that it's awful to get yelled at constantly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's where I learned early. I would not ref games or anything like that because it's even more heightened.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, that was the first. So that was my first time making money here.
Wait. Okay.
Not to the
That's
gas
different.
station.
First
That's
time
nuts.
making money, or first
No,
time
because you were
get a
doing stuff.
job?
Yeah, no, more like making money.
Making money was like 4th grade, and I was selling Smencils.
You did talk about this before.
Yeah.
You
I
did
guess
have that grind.
counts. And then your next phase, like you were doing stuff on your own, like at college.
I've always done stuff on my own. In high school, I repaired people's phones.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
that count. I don't know that
And
it fully
crack
counts, but I
screens.
was kind of
Yeah.
curious into that.
So
Whenever
that's
you
where
said
I
gas
made
station,
my
though, it
made my
threw me.
first dollar
Yeah.
was selling Smencils.
Okay.
That's crazy, even at that age, because yeah, I don't think like I did anything along those lines.
Yeah.
Because
Going
at
back to
14
that,
is pretty youngish for me. Is when I started umpiring, and then
Yeah.
at 16 I started an actual job.
Yeah,
where
I
was
think it
getting a
was
paycheck.
around like 5th or 6th. Maybe it was like in middle school. I think it was middle school, not 4th grade. But like, yeah, middle school, it was Smencils or whenever those were popular. That's what we did. So that was the first time I earned like money.
I
But
mean,
an
if
actual
they're
job
paying you
where an
for it, like,
employer
yeah.
paid me was working at the gas station.
Yeah.
okay, makes sense.
Crazy.
Well, then my first time making money was stripping down copper wires
Yo, what?
in like
We were in
third
a
grade.
sweatshop?
Bro, my mom's ex-boyfriend from a long time ago, he's a garbage man. He would bring home old TVs, like yards of wire, and every Saturday, wake up, strip the wire down to the copper, roll it up, bring it to the scrapyard.
What?
Yeah, bro.
Dude, there are so many ways to make
Yeah.
money. I remember whenever I was
Yeah.
Hey,
whenever I was about to sign up
we were
at
getting paid.
whatever the thing was to donate blood. I was like, you can donate blood and make this much money, bro? It wasn't blood. What is it? It's
Plasma.
plasma.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, you
yeah.
can don't, dude. I was like, going to BioLife or whatever it's called, and I was just like,
Oh my
I was like, I'm definitely
gosh,
gonna do
bro.
this, and then
Oh
I
my
ended up not doing it. But a buddy of mine actually did. Dallin did it from the wedding. He
Oh, yeah?
yeah, but he was a BYU track athlete too. I don't know what this guy was thinking, but to get by, I guess he was donating
yeah, bro.
plasma, which is for a great cause too. I mean, say
I'm-
that first, like, you know, that was part of the reason I wanted to, even to an extent, is like, because I've donated blood before. Plasma is just a little more intense. Like they got to take a little more and they got to keep you a little longer.
Yeah.
But in the sense of the cause and stuff, like
Yeah.
they run you through a just absolute gauntlet of questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, do they really?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like 200 questions. I did it. I filled it all out, and then just ended up not going all the way through with it. Decided against it, but
Huh.
I did go there and sit down and fill it all out. Got the physical and everything.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And this was like, it was less than a year ago.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Such a grind to get that. 'Cause
It is,
it's,
dude.
It's like, I mean, it's pretty fairly easy. They put you through it just because it's like, oh, quick dollar. But yeah, bro, a lot of friends in college, they definitely went and donated some plasma.
Mm.
Even like, bro, the most extreme I heard was like sperm donating.
Really?
Yes, bro.
No
Just to get
way.
some cash. I'm
For
like,
real?
Yes,
where
bro.
where are those at?
I don't
I'm just
know.
kidding.
I really
Dude, no,
don't know.
they're up there. They're out
definitely,
there.
yeah.
They're out
bro.
there.
$75 per
Per bus,
donation.
per
Yeah.
I
vision.
forgot about that. Maybe I do have kids.
Maybe. This dude's got 7,500 kids over here.
Telling you.
That's
but that was
crazy, dude.
That's
That's-
the crazy side. Is
That
like
is crazy. I forgot
somewhere in
about
the
that.
world, after you donate your sperm,
Yo, can you imagine getting that
kid.
ring, that doorbell ring, ding
Yep.
dong?
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
hey,
here.
There's
I'm,
got to be laws
hey,
against
Dad.
that. Like,
No. I think they can request.
oh, if you request,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, she, Mini.
I mean, that's up to the parent.
Yeah,
at the
hopefully.
Moment, so
Yeah, you find that out. I mean, oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I mean, like that's different
you-
than even being adopted.
Would you want
it
to
is.
know?
No,
Would
I
you
don't
want
think
to
so.
know?
there's absolutely no way. You can't
Especially at
unlearn
that
that.
time.
You can't unlearn that.
At that time of your life, you're probably donating just to get a couple dollars for like food, and you want to
Right.
go hang out with
If
some
you're
friends that weekend.
sperm donating, I hate. Man, it's a tough. But if you're doing that, like I came in way too aggressive with that word. I mean, hopefully by the time your kid would have grown up, you were no longer donating,
Yeah,
and
in a
you are
better
not
place.
not needing to, because hopefully you're not
Yeah.
doing it for fun. That's a whole other twisted thing that we don't
Yeah,
need to talk about.
that's yeah.
Anyways, it's got to be for financial gain. Hopefully,
Multiple offenders on that. I've
It's
heard
e-
of it. Like
for
going
real.
multiple times. Like yes, like bro, I need the cash. Like I just went to the sperm bank. Like
Wow.
yeah, bro. Tough situation for some people. Thank God it wasn't me. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I
If-
never
if
even considered it. Only on like I saw it like on an episode of Friends.
Oh yeah, bro.
That's it
Yeah.
for me. And
I
then
would-
I never considered like the real world of that being an option. and stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That is
This
a
pod-
way to end
this
this,
podcast took a turn.
off the rails.
All right.
Whew.
Well, Hopefully those aren't the clips that get edited.
Late night.
Yeah,
podcast.
AI,
see.
dude, those are the ones that are gonna blow up.
Right?
We may have to keep those off the podcast.
Aye, aye, aye. But
All right, come
All right,
back and
guys.
join us next week up to
part 3
part 3.
up to 174.
Good memory.
Correct.
174.
is
You're
right.
holding your book backwards.
That's nice.
There you go. All right.